Hey y'all, got me a little beat going on. Am I beat, bitch? Am I beat, bitch? Hey, yeah, I'm back. I'm back. So, tonight, we're going to talk about the honeypot haters because apparently wanting young black girls to strive for greatness is racist. And we're going to talk about Judge Jessie LeBlanc from Louisiana, honey. She's spilling judicial tea in the courtroom, honey. So, let's get into it. But first, the honeypot haters, baby. So, y'all probably already know that the CEO for Honeypot, which is a all-natural skincare, hair care, feminine hygiene line, right? Black CEO. She has products in Target and whatnot. Very successful product line, right? So, in one of the interviews she did, when she was expressing, her excitement for being placed in Target, which is a major chain grocery and clothing and your everything store, I call it a Sadiddy Walmart. She was saying she wanted to give hope to young black girls and women and show that basically they could be entrepreneurs themselves and achieve great things. So apparently, fragile white women, and before I go any further, let me just put this out there. I know all white women are not fragile, but some of y'all are. And so we're going to talk about the fragile ones. And some of them were fragile men too. I don't know what else y'all doing with y'all privilege, but you're misusing it greatly by just hating on hating on minorities for doing what they're supposed to do, what you tell them to do, which is to go out and achieve the American dream. So anyway, fragile white women and some white men took to the online rating process. You've all heard of give it 5 stars if you liked it, and then give us some comments if you liked it. So, of course, when you buy something at Target, if you buy it online, you can go back in and rate the product, right? 1 star means you hated it. 5 stars means you loved it, of course. If you're like me and you're too lazy to go back and rate the product, no stars means that you're just lazy, like me. So, but anyway, they went in and started rating all her products, the whole product line, 1 stars, and leaving very racial comments on the product page. Why can't we just have it for all women? And to target a specific group of people is pretty racist. And one guy even said something along the lines of race war now, won't. And it just went overboard and it got out of hand. So, and we'll talk about those comments later. But to show you how gracious this CEO is of the Honeypot product line, when she was asked about the issue, Sister Girl responded, "It's all good. It's all good." Like true, graceful black women do. Especially when you have a lot to lose by popping off at the mouth. Now, somebody like me probably would just pop off at the mouth and tell everybody they can go to hell. But she has a lot to lose, and she did it correctly. She approached the situation correctly by saying, it's all good. And I'll tell you why it's all good. In mere days after she went through that kind of situation, her product sales went up by 50%. People started buying it off the shelf, left and right. Black women, black girls, black people went and bought the product, and that is the best revenge ever. Because I, for one, went on her product page and just rated it 5 stars for the hell of it. I didn't even know Honeypot was a thing because I don't go on Target. But I went on the product page and rated everything 5 stars just for the hell of it, And so one of the articles on Madame Noir, which was titled Honeypot CEO Sales Skyrocket or something to the effect of that after white women's fragility goes on a rampage or something to that effect. So here's the thing, because of course she survived all that quote unquote backlash, or what they thought was going to be backlash. But you can't keep a good woman down. Okay, so kudos to her for handling that appropriately and classily and gracefully, right? So here's the thing. A lot of the women who were going in there and trashing her products and giving it 1 stars and just being racist in the comment section of her product line, I have a question for them. If you don't want it to be targeted towards black women and black girls, to show them that there is a possibility that they too can be a CEO of a productive, successful business that can be on the shelves at a major chain, who else gonna do it? You? Look at all the commercials that are out now. We know what products aren't for us. We know what companies are not geared towards showing us any love. Look at your skincare products. Tresemme, Pantene, Garnier Fruit Trees. Some of y'all makeup lines don't even go a shade darker than a deep tan. So for her to take it upon herself, the CEO to take it upon herself to say, yeah, my product line is so that black women, little black girls who come up behind me can see success and pattern themselves after a successful black woman. And I know y'all probably already know this, but did you know, if you didn't know, I'm going to tell you, in America, a majority of business owners are white men. Okay? White men. Black people fall significantly behind in business ownership. I think the Small Business Administration quoted back in 2012 that 65% of businesses owned in America are owned by men. Okay? As compared to women, period. Women only own about 35 and some change. Hey, Jessica. Women only own 35% and some change of businesses in America. Out of that, 85% of those businesses are owned by white people. Black people and other non-white minorities are bringing up the rear at less than 15% of black business ownership. And of that, the Hispanics are even more minimalized, only coming in at about 11% of total businesses that's owned in America. So here's my question to you. Who else is going to tell us that there is success on the other end of the struggle other than a black CEO with a product line in a major chain store? See how you missed the whole point of what she was trying to say? We know you will bring your young girls up to know that success is right around the corner, because it is. It is for them. But for non-majority African Americans, Hispanics, there's no example of that. And if there is an example of that, it's very few and far between. Look at the disparity between white ownership, 85% and some change, and black business ownership, 15% and some change. So, how dare you? Amen, how dare you take it upon yourself to trash this woman who is specifically saying, I made strides for the culture. And whether you like it or not, some of the things black people do is for the culture. It's not meant to uplift you, because there's enough people in the world already uplifting you, white woman. You already get enough praise. Everything is already targeted towards you. Clothes, makeup, hair care, all of that. You don't even get profiled in the store. We get followed in the store. So we know what's not for us. So kudos to this CEO for making it plain, blatant, and clear that she is doing this, and her success is to be an example for young black women, young little girls, young black girls coming up behind her, so that they can know your product, sis, your invention, sis, your hair care cream, sis, can also make it to Target, which is one of the biggest chains in America. And she is saying that because, like I said before, black business ownership is this much of the American economy. And don't even let me get into why that is, because we all know why that is. Black people did not have the privilege of growing up with startup funds, startup money, easily getting a loan from the bank. We didn't come up with that. We didn't have the privilege of easy cash to pop up a storefront. Everything we got, we had to hustle for. We had to grind for. We had to lose sleep for. So, for you to get in this woman's comments on her product line that she made successful is racist. So whatever you was trying to preach and whatever you was trying to tell and make a point about is lost on me. And it's lost on every other black woman, every other minority woman in the country, because we know, white woman, you were born with the privilege to not have to struggle like we did. So when your products make the shelves in every chain store across America, cross-branded, Walmart, Target, Walgreens, CVS, Whole Foods, when your products hit the shelves like a whirlwind, excuse me for not being impressed. But anyway, y'all can check out more on that article. It's online, it's trending right now, it's a big buzz about it. But anyway, y'all support Honey Pot and go to this woman's page and go to Target and go to her product line and rate that shit 5 stars just because. Because what she did was for the culture. And what she did wasn't meant to inspire nobody but black girls. And they need inspiration now more than ever. So, to all the racist people who were in the comments hating, y'all go to hell. Y'all can go straight to hell. But anyway, let's talk about this judge. So, Judge Jessie LeBlanc, I don't know if you guys have seen in the news, she was a judge in Napoleonville, Louisiana, which is kind of on the outskirts of New Orleans, Louisiana. Around, I think, Houma, Thibodeau, Cajun country kind of stuff over there, Napoleonville. The 23rd Judicial District of Louisiana. She held a position on the bench, and she recently resigned amid some controversy that came out that she, was having an extramarital affair with the deputy, Mr. Prejean, and word got out that she actually used racial slurs in some of their conversations, in some of their text message exchanges, right? So here's a little bit of the backstory. Judge LeBlanc and Mr. Prejean, like I said, had an extramarital affair, but little did she know, Mr. Prejean was also sleeping with the black law clerk at the courthouse, right? So when all that came to hit the fan, she resigned to stop the madness, so the article says. And this is the article from theadvocate.com, which was primarily based in Baton Rouge, but they also made it down here in New Orleans. And so, let me put on my glasses so I don't misquote nobody, honey. She wrote a letter to the Secretary of State stating that her decision to resign was born out of prayer and fully cognizant of what the ordeal has done to her family. She has to go back and apologize to her whole family for having a very now public affair. And now that she has been ousted for pretty much being racist, she has now faced all of her previous court decideds and all her court judgments being called into question for racial motives behind them. And so some of the text messages that I read online that she was sharing between herself and Mr. Prejean, when she found out about the fact that he was sleeping with the black law clerk at the courthouse, said, I've never been unfaithful to you, let alone to with a nigga. And I'm going to say the word here because it's what she said. And I'm going to get deeper into that word and why white people feel like they can use it and it's an excuse when they're angry. But anyway, she also has some conflict with the black sheriff's officer And some of her text messages to and fro stated that he was a thug nigga, a nigga, and she just was using the word like, I guess because she felt like she could in the privacy of her own text messages. But little did she know, somebody went and dropped off phone records and text message transcripts to her door, low-key harassing her and blackmailing her, which caused her to step down. And so when she was interviewed about the whole controversy, she said, no, I've never used that word, until recently. And I used the word, out of anger and anxiety and all this kind of stuff that was happening to me. Again, with the me, what about me? So here's the thing, and I'll get into what she wrote to the Secretary of State in a minute. But here's the thing about the word nigga, and I'm using it in this instance because I don't like to say the word, but here's the thing about the word nigga. People who are not minorities, people who are not black, you can't say the word, period, because the word was meant to oppress the black race. That was it. The word was invented to degrade us. So you can't say it now, nor ever. I don't care how diluted it is. I don't care how much you hear it in your favorite rap song. The word is not for you. And you are expressing an extreme amount of privilege by saying that you should be able to. I don't care if you're angry. I don't care if you're upset at the time. I don't care if you're speaking out of character because you're drunk or high or whatever. The word nigga is not your term to use as you see fit when you are angry, upset, and fearful. You know why? Because it's not meant to be a go-to word to express fear, anger, and anxiety. And by you doing that, that lets me know, Judge LeBlanc, you use it all the time. In the privacy of your own home, in the privacy of your social surroundings with your friends, in the privacy of an all-white audience who understand that you just mean it because you're mad. You would never use it in the presence of another black person. It's the same way you would never use another derogatory slur in front of a Hispanic, a Jew, or a gay person. That lets me know because it's so easily slipped out your mouth and you were so comfortable with saying the word that you put it into print and shared it. You put it into print and hit send to another person who understands that you say it often so they weren't offended. How about that? So I'm not buying your spiel about it was a very rough time for me. I was going through a lot. I don't give a damn. The word nigga is not the go-to word when you feel angry, pissed, anxious, and fearful. It's not another cuss word. It's not another slur. It's not another random thing you just say because you pissed. Me saying, fuck this shit, is a word that I use when I'm pissed. Me just hollering out racial slurs about Hispanics is not a spur of the moment type of thing. It's not some random spur of the moment shit. That's me being racist in public because I'm also racist in private. I don't use those words. I don't use any slurs to describe any member of any race. And that's why you'll never catch it in my exchanges with my private circle of friends, in my private family surroundings, because we don't do it. No matter how mad we are, it never slips out. It never slips out. So, like I said, Jesse LeBlanc, you're racist, high-key racist. You got caught in an extramarital affair, and you were pissed that the man that you were sleeping with was also giving a D to a black girl. How dare he sleep with me and a nigga? That's what that text message said. How dare you sleep with me and a black bitch? Yeah. But anyway, before I get too heated on that, because I can go on and on and on all night about the word nigga. But Nevertheless, once Jessie LeBlanc resigned, she felt it necessary to write the Secretary of State and tell him, I'm resigning, through prayer, and I'm very cognizant of my wrongdoing. But then she went on to spill judicial tea, honey. And then a couple of paragraphs down in the letter, she says, now I would be remiss if I didn't also let you know 3 other members of the bench knew that I was sleeping with that man and didn't say anything. Male members of the bench have had extramarital affairs. And I know, as a woman, it is more incumbent upon me to carry myself better than the men on this bench. But just so you know, 3 other people knew that I was sweeping around on my husband, and they didn't say nothing. Okay? So she went on to say, more apologies and things like that, and basically the men do it all the time, and just because I'm a woman doesn't mean won't. And so she basically aired everybody out at the 23rd Judicial District Court. Okay? So now we come to this thing where, and here's the thing, Prejean actually signed her affidavit saying that the text messages were authentic. But that's neither here nor there. So here's the thing. I used to practice law in front of judges of many races, right? The judge that I was assigned to when I was a DA was another African American man, right? So there was never any, and New Orleans is a majority African American city. So very few and far between would you not be a black defendant going in front of a black judge against a black ADA. And 9 times out of 10, the defense lawyer was black too. So it was just all like a circle of blackness. But here's the thing when you have racist things that come out and come to light like this. Every conviction you got, Jessie LeBlanc, is now up for question because you are publicly known as a racist. So for every African American defendant that came across your courtroom, every conviction, I want it pulled. I want the case examined. You damn near might get acquittals. You damn near might get some acquittals out of this. Because when you think of the racial makeup of the justice system and who's actually a defendant in America, they look like me. They look like my daddy. They look like my brother. They look like my uncles. You know what I'm saying? They're black men and women. So, and just so you know, Jessie LeBlanc is a white woman. But when you think about the racial makeup of who's coming before this judge as a defendant, and now her laundry's aired out as a racist, I want my conviction looked at. I want my judgment looked at. I want my decisions looked at. If she went up on appeal and got sustained, I want that looked at. So it just creates a whole big mess. It creates a whole big, very fixable, but it's going to take some time for them to fix this mess because she really put her foot all the way in her mouth and jeopardized her long-standing legal career. Now, when your cases come up for question because of your moral and ethical misconduct, and I don't know if the Bar Association considers this moral and ethical misconduct, but I do. Anybody who takes the bench is sworn to be an impartial neutral no matter who comes before that judge in a court of law. So if I know my judge is racist, I want everything thrown out. I want her recused, and I want a new judge. So, bottom line, she didn't have a choice but to resign. Hey, Amy, bottom line, she didn't have a choice but to resign because every defendant and every defense attorney who was going to come before her after this came out was going to ask for her immediate recusal from the case, especially if they were African American or any minority of that matter. Because let's just face it, if you use the word nigga, you also use the other slurs to describe other minorities that you don't really care for either. So, we're looking at now digging into her conviction record, digging into her record when she's taken up on appeal, because sometimes lawyers don't like the judge's decision and we take them up on appeal on a writ. If she's ever been sustained by a court of appeals, I want that looked at. Anybody you sent to jail on your decision, I want that looked at. Anybody that you sentenced to minimum time or probation or you put on papers, what we call parole. Parole is called being put on papers. Anybody you ever put on paper, I want that looked at. Anybody that you ever sent home who wasn't a minority, I want that looked at. Anybody who you gave a slap on the wrist because they weren't a minority, I want that looked at. See how the snowball just keeps on rolling? And she even made a comment in one of her interviews with one of these media outlets that her conviction record and her tenure as a judge has never been swayed by anything other than the law and other than justice. I call bullshit. I call bullshit, Jesse. I call bullshit. Because clearly your judgment was not clear when you decided to put into words and text to call somebody out their name. I want your whole catalog of cases reviewed. I want it all reviewed. But anyway, this was a pretty heated ass Claire. But nevertheless, y'all can catch me every Wednesday at 6 p.m. doing the same thing I always do, brain. I'm always here trying to take over the world. But anyway, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow. I will post my contact information when I do a rebroadcast of this video. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. If you have a topic that you want me to discuss on Ask Claire on Wednesdays, or if you want to go live with me and discuss it with me, just contact me. That information will be at the end title card on my rebroadcast video. Okay? Y'all take care. Love you. Oh, and I know y'all know that I had a February swag campaign going on where I was trying to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube, and everyone who subscribed was going to be entered into a chance to win some free Claire Huxtable swag. So, after the whole month of February, which was 29 days this year, happy leap year, the name that was pulled out of the hat was Kiara Tate from Oakland, California. So Kiara, if you're watching right now, email me your address so I can send you your free swag. Thank you guys. Love ya. Bye.